What's up, guys? Welcome to You Heard with Nerds Thursday Throwback. My name is Dorian. I will be your host today, and joining me today is my longtime friend, Tim. And today we are going to be talking about a game called Resident Evil 4, which Resident Evil 4 recently just turned 15th anniversary.
Yeah, wow.
It was released January 11th, 2005 on the GameCube. Basically what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about what made this game awesome in the first place.
Yeah.
So, first up, what were your first impressions of the game? Because you played this pretty much right when it came out. I was a little bit late to the party on this one here.
A little bit. You were very late.
Yes. Yes.
Like 14 years late.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anyway, about 14, when I was 14 years ago.
Wow.
Okay. I played, well, I was, I think maybe 14 or 13 when it came out, and I played it and it scared the daylights out of me. This was the first mature game I've ever played.
Yeah.
And my brother got it because we had a GameCube. He was older than me.
Yeah, that was like a big deal for the GameCube back in the day here.
Oh, it was a huge deal.
Yeah, because it used to just, I remember as a kid, it always was branded as like a little kid's console for the most part here.
Yeah.
It doesn't have Halo. It doesn't have, this thing or that thing that's more mature, edgy game or something like that. And
that was definitely the comments I had to battle on the fields of the console wars.
Yep.
Because so many people would say that the GameCube is for little kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Halo was the only man's game out there, and GTA.
Yep.
But,
Here we are.
Talking about Resident Evil 4, a game that was better or more mature than just about any
of all those games.
Except Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
but,
probably. But
yeah.
Anyhow, so first time playing it, first mature game on the GameCube. Your brother bought it. So.
Yeah. Basically, I was used to, GameCube games that are super fun.
Family friendly.
My brother got this and was just like, "Hey, dude, you need to check this out." So, I pick up the GameCube controller, and first encounter, I'm like trying to aim. I never played a shooter. Well, I've played a couple on the computer, but the controls are not easy to get used to.
No.
And I think that's what made it so scary in the first place, is because I'm trying to figure out how to aim while a guy's chopping me into pieces.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I barely am able to get past those guys, they throw a chainsaw guy at me.
Yeah.
And then I just helplessly watch as the chainsaw guy saws into my body and then lops my head off.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my when I became a man moment.
Childhood innocence was lost, right?
Yeah, it was. I definitely had a feeling as soon as I saw Leon's head fall off, I was like,
ship up or ship out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I definitely entered a new realm of video games, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, because when I first played this game, I think you let me borrow it when I was in high school. And, like you, I hadn't really played too many shooters at that before that point. Matter of fact, I don't think I really played too many at all where, your aim is, really crucial to, actually, how well you do at the game. Because most of the other games I played that had any type of aiming mechanic whatsoever was Zelda, and most of the time you can get away with Z targeting or L targeting, whatever game it was, and shooting your enemy that way, and you didn't have to worry about it. But no, this game, I played it a little bit in high school, and I couldn't get past the chainsaw guy here.
Yeah,
and initially when I played it to completion for the first time last year. And I remember telling you about this. I played the remastered version on the PS4. I mean, which pretty much keeps a lot of things intact. It just upscales like the graphics, I think, is like the main thing it does. But basically, I am, taking out the control or taking out the gun, using the controls, and I'm just like, oh no, these controls have aged hard because like there's so many like just things that you're used to, like just having the second analog stick, being able to move the camera around, being able to see and like with freedom, and like this is like a lot more limited here.
Yeah.
It was just kind of, I think, one of the things at the time that was just like, yeah, it just made things difficult. But that being said, I mean, I found my rhythm with it, and I just end up doing just fine. And I'm really impressed that it really holds up as well as it does, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it just has some gameplay hooks that just keep you coming back for more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just
like your curiosity is piqued on like what's going to happen next.
Yes, I mean, no, I think it's it definitely has like one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like like I think kind of like the same feeling that you get when you play like something like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, where it throws a challenge at you, but at the same time you don't want to walk away from it. You want to like persevere and like say, okay, I'm gonna own this thing here.
Yes.
Yeah. So next up, this game's tone is one of the things that you and I have talked about quite a bit here, because it's essentially like a cheesy 80s action movie combined with like a horror movie for the most part. So what are your thoughts on all this here, just so that the audience kind of knows what you're feeling on it?
Oh, the
tone, yeah.
The tone of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love this, and I think that we need something like this today.
Yeah.
Because it's about 15 years ago since we've gotten a protagonist that keeps his cool during zombie infestations.
Yeah,
and
he's not fazed by like pretty much like anything in this game whatsoever. Like
No.
you got parasites coming out of people's heads and stuff, and he's just like, I'll just shoot it.
Yeah, I'll just shoot it. I'll make a couple of wisecracks here and there.
Yep.
I'll hit on the government agent lady that's
like giving me intel.
Yeah.
And stuff.
He's there like it seems like another day, just another day for Leon Kennedy.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just like, this happens to me every Wednesday or something like that.
Like I could be spending my time at the office in the government, or
like sifting through a mountain of paperwork.
Yeah, or I could
like
be
that.
having fun over here. So might as well.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, the game's premise, like right from the get-go, the initial premise at least, is I feel like ripped from like what you would see in like a action movie from the 80s, just because it's like a secret agent that has to save the president's daughter here for the most part.
Yes.
And I mean, it's like, I feel like, yeah, I've seen that's kind of like almost like Commando, or like even like kind of Taken, like you gotta like go and save the girl and like gotta kill a bunch of guys in order to do it here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, definitely like Commando.
Yeah. And then like the knife fight with like Jack Krauser, like at the there's like one scene where it's like a quick time event where it's like a cut scene that has quick time events for like the knife fighting and all that. That's like, I feel like just right out of Commando right there, like the final fight.
Oh yeah, just some like manly knife fight scene, like mano a mano.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, like you said, like chock full of one-liners for one here. There's that part where like everybody, all the village people, they hear the church bells and they enter the church here, and Leon's like, "Where's everybody going? Bingo?" or something like that. The twin ballistics line, if you know what that means, you're welcome. And then there's that one part where like the villain was like telling them like, Salazar,
yeah.
He's telling them that we released our monsters into the sewers, and that's the only way you can get to us. He's like, and then the quote is, "Thanks, that should keep me company because boredom kills me." Just like, just stuff that you do not see today in video games. It's so cheesy, and I just have appreciation for it.
Yeah, everyone is super dramatic these days in games.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, we need to stop this. Oh no.
Yeah.
They're not like,
Yeah, no, they're going for like the unofficial video game Oscars for the most part. Here.
well, and the crazy thing about Leon is that he finds out, or he's sent to collect intel to find out where the president's daughter is.
Yeah.
And then he finds out where she is.
Yeah. And then he just, instead of like calling for backup, which, he's just like, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
And I guess people in the government aren't too like, they're not too worried, I guess. They send one helicopter, gets shot down.
Yeah.
Hunnigan tells you that.
Well, then they send the other one at the very end, and that gets shot down.
Yeah. But it's like, in real life, if the president's daughter was kidnapped, they would send in like...
They'd send in like every branch of military.
Yeah, they would.
But apparently in this game, like Leon is better than all the branches of military.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we all can see that play out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that or Leon, he's good and all, but the president, maybe she's one of his least favorite daughters.
Something, yeah. I mean, who knows?
He's just like, yeah, send one
guy.
I
mean, I think that's probably a pretty accurate statement after you meet Ashley and stuff. But yeah, you got anything? You got anything you want to add on to like the '80s tone at all, or?
Okay. So yeah, the premise.
Yeah.
Just all of he has like back and forth dialogues with every major enemy in the game.
Yeah.
So the village chief, he has a confrontation with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the village chief says, "Hey, if you try to mess with me or mess with us,
we'll dispose of you and stuff." Yeah.
And I don't know if you did this, but you can try going back.
I did do that. Yeah.
And then Ada shoots him in the back, and then he jumps out the window.
Yep.
But yeah, you have that guy, and then you also meet up with Lord Sadler in the church.
Yeah.
You have a face-to-face confrontation with him.
Yeah.
He starts talking about his religion and how it's so great and Plagas and all that.
Yeah.
And Leon's like, this is more like an alien invasion than a religion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
just like a lot of those like the hero villain dialogue that that was pretty heavily featured in like the like the action movies that it draws from.
Yeah, Die Hard with Hans
Oh,
Gruber
absolutely, yes.
Yep. Yeah. I think in Commando, he calls him up a couple. Is it just once that he calls him up and tells him that he's gonna kill him?
No, I mean
no, because then
because like in Commando, like they basically capture him and his daughter at the beginning, go and try to send him out on that mission to kill that one guy that they want him to kill, and then like he ends up not doing it, and then comes back, and then that's when they start having their dialogue again. But I mean, well, one of the things that definitely speaks to like the kind of action movie vibe of this game is like once you get to the island at like the last third of the game, it's like full on 80s action movie tone here for the most part, because you get mercenaries instead of like cultists and village people here. You have the helicopter scene where you just got guys getting mowed down by your buddies in the helicopter, and then you have the actual Jack Krauser fight, which is like that's like again just super like Macho Man type stuff.
Yeah,
here.
he's like Rambo. He's shooting you with explosive arrows.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to do back handsprings and flips away from him.
Yes.
And actually, if you use your knife against him in the final confrontation, it hurts him more than...
Really?
Yeah, it hurts him a whole lot more.
I'll have to try that next time.
It's tough, but you have to like dodge him correctly and then just like land a knife.
Really?
Yeah.
So there you go. But no, I mean, well, and even after like 15 years, this game is still scary here. Like, it's not like jump scares per se, but it just like really creates like a creepy atmosphere, and like also tries to overwhelm you by throwing like a whole bunch of enemies your way where you feel like you're getting surrounded, you're running low on ammo. You have to like really make sure you conserve like your resources in this game. Otherwise you're going to be, coming up short by the time the game's over here.
Yeah. And that's one thing after like my 5th or 6th playthrough of this game.
Yeah.
I just kind of started forgetting about my first playthrough, how making sure you had enough ammunition for whatever was around the corner was super important.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because you were like concerned about whatever could happen next.
Yeah.
But then after so many playthroughs, you just kind of like get conditioned. You're like, oh,
I know what's coming around the corner. I know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and plus, I mean, not to mention like in, the next playthroughs, I mean, most of your weapons that you get to keep, if you're doing like the new game plus type thing, is like most of the weapons that you acquire later in the game you get to start out with. You get to have all the upgrades that come with it, so you're conserving more ammo on that. And then also you get to unlock like some really like banger weapons, like an infinite rocket launcher or something like that, But yeah, I mean, well, it's I think one of the other things that really makes this really good is, or like just scary in terms of like it's for like the horror vibe it's kind of going for, is the tank controls. Because this is not like a game where if you look at like most like modern third person shooters and all that, you can like move around, you can do like all sorts of things, and kind of like you have like a lot of freedom of movement, like kind of something like you would see in like Uncharted or something like that.
Or I would say Resident Evil 6, it was less scary because you're able to move around really fluidly and easily.
Yeah. But like but I mean, because like if you like when you aim, you stop and you shoot, and then you're also not like super fast, and like it's very tanky in terms of like how it controls here,
Yeah.
And so I mean, that creates like obviously limitations on the player, because it's like kind of what we were talking about before the podcast. Either if they wanted to like keep that vibe, either they had to like make like the enemies like be like really fast, kind of like what you would see like on like say something like Left 4 Dead or something like that, or you'd have to like make the player's actions more limited. And like most people, at least like with those type of controls, would not be able to react quick enough to like a bunch of fast enemies. So I think it kind of helps balance it out here.
Yeah, I would say Left 4 Dead kind of does that.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. I like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have you just have that amount of anticipation.
Yeah.
Like as the guy's coming towards you slowly, and you have to figure out what you're going to do in each situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, one of the scary things about this game in particular was the regenerator, which is basically the guy that you find, like, I think he's on the island. He's later on in the game. You shoot him, you can shoot like a limb off, or like just straight up like put him down, and you think that, oh, that's it. Like, no, he keeps like regenerating, and he comes back, and you have to like get like the infrared scope on like your rifle, and actually like target like specific parts of on his body in order to like actually stop the regenerating parasite he's got going on. And I mean, it's like, no, like that stuff is like super scary.
Yeah. And you have to deal with a couple of those regenerators before you get the scope.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They kind of just they throw you into that, just like and you have no idea what you're supposed to do. You're basically I think they were really kind of trying to like bring back the Nemesis and the Tyrant kind of vibe from like Resident Evil 2 and 3 on this one, and like but
if you blast his legs, he also jumps up. He squirms around like a snake.
Oh gosh.
And can jump up and bite your neck.
So, jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't get to that part.
That is really scary.
But well, yeah, and then like they have the upgraded one where he's got like I think they're called the Iron Maidens, where like they got like a bunch of spikes coming out of them, and he's got like the Dalsim reach and all that. Like he can like stretch his arms and like get you. I'm like no.
I know.
But
and they like they sniff. They
oh
sniff
yeah,
a
they
lot.
do, don't they?
Yeah.
Like that's not creepy.
Yeah, because you'll just be like standing around, then you just hear the sniffing noise, and you're like, "Oh no!"
Like, oh, something's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I will say, I think like the cultists and the village people are definitely creepier than like the zombies that you see in the other Resident Evil games, just because like I don't know. For one, it just kind of seems like their moveset was pretty limited in terms of like what they could do to you, because like all they did was like they reach for you, they bite your neck and all that. Like these guys, like oh, I got like a pitchfork, or oh, I got like a infinite supply of axes like in my fanny pack that I can throw at you, or even like a a chainsaw or something,
or
like that.
a stick of dynamite.
Yeah,
Like one of those crazy old guys that are just like, I'm gonna blow them all up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, so I mean, yeah, I definitely think like it just makes you like more like it just creates a more scary atmosphere than like you would see like just going against like your typical run of the mill zombies type thing, just because I mean these guys have some level of intelligence. Like if you kick down the ladder to prevent people coming up, they'll like start putting it back up if you don't stop them,
and throwing your axes at you while they're doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say for other scary scenes, I was parts that were freaky for me.
Yeah.
Oh man, there were a lot of them, but first encounter with the Wolverine man.
The Wolverine man.
Yeah.
We just for record, we have a friend that we both know. He calls Wolverine for whatever reason. So the name just kind of stuck. But
it is hilarious.
Yes. But yeah, no. Well, yeah. I mean, I was gonna talk about it later, but I guess we could talk about it. Yeah. I mean, basically, it's a blind Wolverine guy who has like these claws, but his like eyes are like sewn shut basically. And so, you're kind of having to use like walk around really quietly, because the only way you can kill him is like you have to shoot him in the back, and you have to like get him to like, move or go somewhere else. Like, so you might have to like, ring a bell over here, which I thought that was just kind of hilarious, the logic of it, because you're shooting a gun
Yes.
from your position, which is louder than a bell.
Yes.
And but the bell ringed, he'll hear that, and not you shooting your gun at the bell. But hey, it's video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean it's like a great enemy type. I really like the design of that guy,
especially when they put you in a cage with one of them.
Oh gosh, yeah, that I definitely died a few times to that one here. Yeah, because there's no bells you can ring in there.
No. Yeah, it's just like, what do I do?
Exactly, yeah. So we kind of talked about them a little bit, before this next section, but I feel like, we do need to kind of like go in full detail about the main man himself, Leon S. Kennedy here. I mean, basically, this guy is a guy that makes his life mission statement all about being cool.
Yes.
And, every time he jumps out, like a window, he's like striking a pose, making sure like the camera can capture his best angle and stuff like that. Like there's like that one scene where you're finding that big salamander fish thing in the lake and all that, and you're in the boat, and sometimes the fish will like knock you, and you have like just a bunch of like spears and javelins in the boat, and there's times where you'll get knocked off the boat and you have to swim back into the boat before the monster catches you. And it's hilarious just because like Leon must have like a gold medal in like swimming and also javelin throw here, just because he takes that thing on like a champ. It's like what I mean, because it never says like what agency he's with. Like he's just like a special agent or like the president's man.
They
or
hired
like,
him after the Raccoon City incident.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I mean, it's like I'm like, what academy did you go to that specializes in all of this? You know? It's like,
probably just a baller academy.
Honestly, yeah.
It's like you're gonna do flips all day.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah. I mean, and every time, like, you know, he's got like dodge, like, you know, attack from like, say, like a monster or something like that. Like one of the Salazar's right hand man in particular. You have like him like doing like backhand springs and like you know, just like all sorts of gymnastics. Just like you know, and I mean, here's the thing, like his roundhouse kick, I mean, he's probably got like he's probably like distantly related to Chuck Norris, just because that is like the best move in the game.
Yeah, it
you
is.
know, you like you're taking off heads with that. Like there's like that one like certain parts where like there will be like doors that have like, you know, chains on it, right?
Yes.
And you walk up to it and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's like the logical thing is just shoot it and, you know, it'll work. It's like, no, that's not how you do it. You have to like kick it like a couple of times. You literally break the chains with your foot. And then the door will open. Like Leon, like just doesn't skip leg day apparently.
No.
Like Chris is like all about Chris Redfield's all about like, you know, the arms. Like Leon's got to be all about them legs.
It's funny because one of the developers of the game who designed Leon, he said that he didn't want to make him super buffed out.
Yeah.
But he definitely wanted to make him tougher than he was in Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
So he must have... He made him a whole lot tougher than Resident Evil 2.
No, it's a 180 compared to like... compared to how he is in Resident Evil 2, because he's just kind of a rookie and just like he does not keep his cool like he does in this game.
No, he's like a victim to everything.
Yeah.
But in this game, he's just whatever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like, and you know, yeah, it's like
he would be smoking cigarettes, but he chews gum.
Yeah, exactly. And then no, he is like essentially probably like Arnold Schwarzenegger, just less buff.
Yep.
That doesn't have an accent, and Leonardo DiCaprio hair. I mean, that's pretty much it here, you know. Like, and we're talking like Titanic Leonardo DiCaprio hair. But yeah, I mean,
something we didn't know we wanted until it came.
You know, sometimes the things you want most come in unexpected places. But yeah, so I mean, no, it's like, I'm currently, you know, 28 years old, and I want to be him when I grow up.
Yeah, and I think he's probably around like 24, 25.
Uh-oh.
Because this game takes place 6 years after...
Yeah, Raccoon City. Okay.
Which was in 98.
Okay.
I think. No.
Maybe.
Okay,
yeah,
I don't
roughly
know.
Around there.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
He's probably in his mid-20s.
Yeah, something like that, but yeah. Yeah, so... Yeah. So you got like some other notes about like some other characters that we got going on here, right?
Oh, about Luis?
Yeah.
That guy is...
So real quick, so I'm assuming that they're in like Spain or like some type of like, you know, Spanish country in Europe here. I don't think they completely...
No, they just say a place in Europe.
Yeah, which I mean, you know, the only place I can think of that really fits the bill just from all the context clues, like, you know, the Spanish accents, the language, and like, you know, all that stuff here. Well, it'd have to be Spain.
One interesting thing is I looked on message boards, and Spanish players, they don't like the people who are from Spain played this.
Yeah.
And they said that their accent is not like from Spain.
Yeah.
So,
you know, makes
sense. And then
sense.
some Mexican people like refuted that and said, it doesn't sound like a Mexican accent either. So there were people saying it's somewhere in Central America.
I mean,
the accent is
Central America,
because they recorded voiceover in America instead of over
Yeah,
in Spain.
no, it's probably just like a bunch of white guys just doing their best Spanish impression or something like that. But but anyhow, to continue on my point, like, so they call him Lewis in the game. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be pronounced Luis, just given the context of where we're at. But hey, you just go for it here.
Yeah, Luis.
Yeah.
So Luis is awesome, and you only see him 3 times. And in those 3 times, he became one of my favorite characters.
I mean, he always had like something clever to say.
Yeah, he always had something clever to say.
And just some cringy dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, for whatever reason, I always think of him saying a little rough, don't you think?
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know.
I mean, it could be applied to like so many life scenarios.
Yeah, good. He was awesome in the cabin scene.
Yeah.
And then the very last scene you see him in, the 3rd time, he says that he's a researcher hired by Lord Sadler.
Yeah.
And Lord Sadler figured it out that he was...
Yeah, he was turning on him.
He ends up giving Leon a suppressant that helps Leon.
Yeah, suppress the parasite and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, man, yeah, Luis he's such a cool guy. If I had to describe Luis as as a person, I would say he's that one foreign exchange student.
Oh gosh.
That only showed up to class 3 times throughout the school year.
Yeah.
And then ends up dying in a tragic accident.
What kind of comparison or example is that?
Just, and like every time he came to class, you were just like, that guy's the man. That
like
guy's so cool.
He definitely made his presence known.
He made his presence known.
Oh,
and you're just
gosh.
like, oh no. Because honestly, what happens to him, you feel for it. And you only see him 3 times. So it's amazing what he accomplished in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
Even though, like, as soon as you're rescued, you and him are tied together, and then a Ganado uses an axe and then breaks the chains, linking you guys together. He just like runs away, doesn't even say anything.
Yeah, no, he ain't sticking around. He got better places to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what other characters do you like in this game? Here?
Salazar is the man.
The half man.
The half man. Yeah, I was thinking about what is Salazar? Is he just a little person that, got
or like a child or something?
Or yeah, a child, a genius child king, growth stunted by a parasite.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's he's just so weird. Just like he's just like this little whiny guy.
Yeah,
here.
this little guy you could crush with your hand.
Yeah.
And he's pulling all these strings to try to destroy Leon.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. He sets up so many traps and so many things.
Yeah, like really elaborate stuff.
Yeah, really elaborate. He has these this like device that like binds Ashley.
Yeah.
And it's like made only to do that perfectly, and she somehow like goes into the
like
perfect
lines
area.
up with it perfectly. Yeah. Well, and the thing is like nobody's like behind like the control panel operating that thing. That thing just like had a mind of its own according to like the game, which is like okay,
and
it's pretty convenient.
And Salazar likes Leon so much. He does, in his own way, because I think he's just amused by him. Because he hacks into Leon's device.
Oh, just to have conversations and trash talk him.
Talk him, have conversations, just like any little kid on
Xbox Live. So maybe he is a child.
Yeah, I think it's confirmed. He's a child, and He and he could send all of his troops at once to bum rush Leon and murder him.
He's like, nah, let's like kind of like, kind of trickle him out here.
Yeah, let's send him in groups that he might be able to handle.
Yeah.
And he also, dude, I still think he's amazing because he has a roller coaster in his castle. It's not really a whole roller coaster,
like
but it's
the minecart thing, or oh no, you're talking about like that fast travel.
yeah,
thing. Yeah. Well,
like tracks and like maybe not a whole roller coaster, but a cart of a roller coaster that goes between the castle.
yeah. Well, like on the topic of like Salazar's like castle design and all that here.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this for later, but I guess I'll get into it now. So, when we were growing up, this was like the most realistic game that was made.
Yeah, it was.
And
Yeah.
and and then there's, but at the same time, we have a part in this game that you have like this giant statue of Salazar with like elevator hands
Yeah.
that like
You have to
move,
hop from.
that move up and down, kind of like something you would see like in Mario or like The Legend of Zelda. It's just like, okay, but it gets better. So after you clear the room and you start making your way out, that statue legitimately like chases after you. It's like what is this? Like you could afford to get like a giant animatronic statue, but you couldn't equip like all your guys with like a 45 or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. So yeah, he kind of like says, "Hey, Leon, I bet you're gonna have a hard time with these insects I have in the sewers."
Yeah.
He
He's
sets
just
up
always taunting them and
these
just goading
challenges, and then Leon says, "Oh yeah,"
them.
He
And he'll say a one-liner, and then
I can beat all. And then Leon defeats every challenge,
Yeah.
challenge after challenge.
yeah.
The pets in the garden, the maze.
The wolves and all
Yeah,
that.
taunt you about that.
Yeah.
And he sets all this stuff up
Mm-hmm.
just so that Leon can destroy all of it.
Yeah.
I would just say if Salazar wasn't a bad guy, like, yeah, he would be my best friend. Like that castle, so cool.
I mean, yeah, it's got lava pits at like in the deeper levels. I mean, like,
Somehow lava pits with fire-breathing dragon statues.
yeah.
Like, as a kid, if I was friends with Salazar,
Oh, dude.
riding on the roller coaster, seeing the lava
And like here's like the genius thing about Salazar. Like he tempers that lava down to a temperature where like you can walk in it without like getting your face burned off or something like that. Like even though you're like maybe about 50 feet above it or something like that.
Exactly.
So I mean, no, the guy knows how to roll out the red carpet for his guests. For like. Yeah, if like he wanted to do tours or something like that.
Oh yeah. Like his tours would be the best out of any castle. Like you go to tour Europe and you go to like a boring castle.
Yeah,
it's
so it's like, oh yeah, like
these rocks were put here a long time ago.
Yeah, it's pretty drafty in here, And like you go in Salazar's castle, it's like, oh man, it's really warm in here. How'd you manage to do that without any electricity? Lava.
Yeah. Check out my big robot of me.
That's got elevator hands.
Yeah. Seriously though, as a kid, with seeing a big robot statue, seriously, he would be the number one friend to have.
Yeah, no, of course he would.
All the other kids in. But he would be kind of that whiny, kid in
yeah,
class.
that's very privileged, like
Yeah.
snobby. And
Throws a huge fit over getting an A-.
Yeah.
It's just like, my father will have you removed as a teacher of this institution.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
So, Salazar,
Yep.
amazing.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And then Ada is just cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, she's like essentially the female version of Leon. Like,
Yeah.
and it's
You ain't Wong.
gosh dang it.
Ada Wong.
But no, like you have like the you have like this essentially like femme fatale secret agent lady that's like legitimately doing like all sorts of gymnastics in a red like ball dress.
Yeah.
It's like okay, like what did you just come off a set from like the latest James Bond movie or something like that? You didn't have time to change or something like that. There could have been like there's legitimate like hundreds of more practical options for like clothing, you know.
Oh, I know.
But it's funny and hilarious regardless. I mean, this is just kind of like, you know, we were talking about this. Like this game definitely has like a lot of like, you know, movie influences. And I think like, you know, Ada wearing the red dress is definitely like, you know, inspired from like, you know, the James Bond and the movies like it. That, you know, yeah, you have like, you know, James Bond just shooting guys in a tuxedo. You also have like his Bond girl like in a fancy dress that is like, you know, packed to like, you know, the gills with like freaking like weapons and all sorts of stuff.
But the funny thing is, in James Bond, it makes sense because they're like having dinner parties with
and
people.
just breaks out. This is just some like ghetto village in Europe here that you're going to. That's been like, you know, you're not dressing to impress anybody, lady.
She probably was just trying to play hard to get with Leon.
Yeah.
Well, she does all for Leon.
Yep, all for Leon, yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about some of our favorite and most memorable moments that came out of this game. All right, we are back from our break. So we're talking about our most memorable or favorite moments of this game. So one of the things that I think stood out to me the most in this game is the first third of it, because, you know, you're in the village setting. I just like that atmosphere, that feel. And plus, you know, it also has like there's the initial wow factor of like, you know, how this whole thing sets up here. You have the fight in the lake with the salamander fish thing here, you know. You have the chainsaw guy. You have the fight with the big cheese, as Leon likes to call him here, you know. And yeah, no, I mean, there's just you know, like I mentioned earlier, like the Garrador, basically the blind Wolverine guy here, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, I mean, anytime like, you know, you have them, that guy pops up, it's a good time. It's memorable here, you know.
It is.
Now, one thing that we could probably talk at length on this one is the merchant in this game.
Yes.
So I thought about this, and I'm just going to go out here and say it. He is probably the best salesman, shopkeeper, merchant in gaming here. Just because you got to think how much, how many lengths this guy has to go to just to get Leon his stuff and make a buck off of him.
Yeah.
Because you literally have to like traverse like whole villages of like, you know, dangerous people, treacherous castles with full of traps here, enemies and like danger everywhere for one.
Yeah.
And, you know, all while carrying like, you know, about like 50 guns in his coat pocket.
Yeah. Well, in some places, like in the minecart scene,
yeah.
Like you only were able to cross that gap because of the minecart. So I don't know. Maybe as a grappling hook gun or something.
Well, like there's like that one part.
Jetpack, maybe.
I don't know if you remember it, but there's like the lift where you ride down the lift and all that, and he's down there, like, you know, at the bottom of the lift, right?
Yeah.
And you figure like, oh, he just probably took the lift. So, but the thing is then like when you go back up to the lift, there's like literally like just about 50 yards away, he's like right over there. So I mean, like he had to like climb, like just climb like whatever obstacle he could get.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, just like every time you hear him talk, it's like, what are you buying? What are you selling?
So quotable.
Like, no, absolutely. Like, you know, I'll buy it for a high price. Like, yeah, no, I mean, it's basically like if you took like one of the characters from Mad Max and made him a merchant in this game.
Yeah, I like how Leon, a government agent, doesn't even ask him any questions.
No, he just like, all right, I'll just, all these gold coins I found lying around, I guess I'll give them to you if you give me stuff here, because all I came packing was a pistol.
Yeah.
And like maybe about, that is one of the weird things about this game. I mean, granted, it's video games. Things don't always make sense in video games. But like you have like a bunch of village people that don't have any guns, but yet they have like a whole lot of ammo.
Yeah, they do. It was probably a gun grab.
Probably, yeah. Probably. But
yeah, maybe Salazar just wanted all the guns for himself or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe they had to sell it.
Doesn't use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is like one of the games that it's really hard to like really pick out like your most memorable moments in this game, just because it's like I feel like pretty much almost every encounter that you have like in every area, they like, take from like an action movie or a horror movie or something like that. Like they make it like memorable, like just little things like the lift scene where like the first time you're going up it, like, you have guys on the lift that are going to try to throw axes at you and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And Ashley's behind you.
Yeah.
And every time you shoot one of them, she like does a fist pump. Like, yes.
Oh, does she?
Yes,
okay, I did not notice that. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, no, it's one of those things that it's really hard to like put on like as a really like pick and choose, just because there are so many memorable parts about this game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But what do you got for like memorable and favorite moments here?
So I loved hearing all of the dialogue from the villagers in Resident Evil.
Really?
Yeah, in this game. Like it's all in Spanish, but I kind of just imagined.
Yeah.
I tried to imagine what they were saying.
Oh, no. Something like that.
Well, they do say imbecile, which is like imbecile.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's rude as everything. Yeah. Zero freaking manners.
And mierda, which is like a swear.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, mierda.
Oh.
When they're going to get hit by something.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. They say Koglo, but it sounds like go Hitlo or
go head low.
Yeah.
Which I mean, they're just saying, hey, this guy's gonna try to shoot you in the head.
Yeah.
Stay low. But I mean, most people don't follow that advice in this game.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I used to think they were saying go Hitler. With just an accent like go Hitler. Go Hitler.
Oh gosh!
So I was like, these guys are kind of crazy.
They get real anti-Semitic real quick here.
Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that the dialogue was just crazy. Also, the guy who did the sound design for this game, he incorporated animal voices in with certain sounds from the guys.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that, like especially towards the end, like there's like coyote howls or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what, is there a dog gonna be coming after me or something like that?
Or
no.
with some of the with the voices of the villagers,
right? Yeah,
like the women villagers.
Oh yeah,
that screech like a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the guys, I think when they're dying, they kind of like growl a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes it sound really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that, hearing those guys, I would just quote them for whatever reason, especially because I would play with my family, and when like my sister and my brother, and when they were playing it, it'd just be like, oh, it's that guy that says this.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know. Like people who understand Spanish.
Yeah.
They say it's interesting playing the game because they understand like go behind him or stop him or
gotcha.
There's one like it's like in el escape or something where they're saying don't let him escape.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's a zombie in an oven that pops out at you on the island.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a part, I forget where it is. It might be a little obscure, but
Okay.
you walk in and a zombie pops out of an oven and he's on fire and he's like running at you.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't remember. I don't know if I remember that part.
You
Maybe.
might see it next time you play through.
Yeah, maybe.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The castle basement fight scene with the big lizard guy.
Yeah, the henchman. Like essentially, yeah, like it's like yeah, kind of like it reminds me of like the xenomorph from like the Alien movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just kind of like that feel. Like, yeah.
That guy's so tall and freaky.
Oh yeah, no.
And he's fast, like
Yeah.
And you have to freeze him and then like shotgun him and stuff. And
yeah. Well, I remember like we were watching your brother play it, and like basically like the thing is like you have to like turn the power back on for the elevator and stuff, and all the while you're getting chased by this guy, and you eventually turn on the power to the elevator. It takes a moment, I think like about like 5 minutes for the elevator to come back up and like be available for you to like, escape and all that.
Yes.
And your brother was like, okay, the elevator's up here, but I'm going to try to kill him.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to escape.
Yep.
Yeah. I just rocket launched after a couple of attempts here. I'm just like, you know what?
Did you do it while he was frozen or did you do it while...
I think I did it while he was frozen.
Yeah. Because it's kind of cool when you blow him up when he's frozen because all the pieces fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
I love the lake boss scene.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Del
yeah.
Lago.
Yeah.
Here's a little bonus. So if you walk out onto the dock before getting to the boat to go out and meet the lake boss.
Yeah.
And if you can shoot the lake.
Yeah.
And if you shoot it a couple times, the earth will start shaking.
Yeah.
Or like the dock will shake.
Yeah.
And if you shoot it enough times, Del Lago will pop out of the water and eat you.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just like a crazy Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't heal during the Del Lago fight.
Oh, can you not?
I'm pretty sure you can.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And in professional mode, you can only fall off the boat once.
Really?
Yeah, so it's tough.
Wow.
Yeah. The scene where the rope is going to drag you down.
Yeah, like because Del Lago essentially has like the anchor attached to him, so he's like pulling you across the entire lake and stuff. And then as he's like, after you kill him, he's like falling down to the bottom of the lake, and then the rope that has the anchor, it's like attached to, it's like wrapped around your leg and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
And it's so funny because when I watched some people play this game, after they finally beat the lake boss, they set the controller down and were just in relief.
Oh no. Oh no.
They just like put their hands to their side and they were just like breathing heavily and just waiting to watch the cutscene, just enjoy it.
Yeah, just.
And then they see the rope wrap around Leon's leg and they're like, wait, what's going on? And then they see that it's a quick time event and they start scrambling for the controller and they don't get it fast enough and then they die that way.
They gotta do it all over.
They have to do it all over again. It was so funny.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's why I think watching someone play this game through the first time can be really fun.
No, it most certainly can, just because it's like it's one of those things like I was talking with Brett, like, about like on a podcast like a little bit ago about how Dark Souls is really fun to watch somebody play it for the first time, just because it explains so little and there's so many surprises and stuff like that. Like, like when you're fighting the gargoyles or the gargoyle, and then you get them down to half health, and then another gargoyle pops up and stuff like that. Just it's just fun stuff like that. Yeah.
The minecart scene.
Yeah. Minecart scene is pretty good.
They're good in most games.
Yeah,
most
I mean
games.
Donkey Kong Country. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And that was actually inspired by the minecart scene from Indiana Jones.
Oh, Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which-
There's so much like movie moments packed into this game. It's insane.
Yeah. The Krauser knife fight.
Yep.
Quick time event that lasts for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty hard to get all of them correctly.
So real quick, like, because I played the Resident Evil 2 remake just recently, and Krauser was not in that game here. Like,
From what I've been told, he's not in any other games.
so this is somebody that Leon just knows, just like before any of the other games started, or like off camera essentially.
I think he became a government agent and met him.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is between Resident Evil 2 and 4.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, the cave troll. I mean, El Gigante.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
First fight with him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like you're like, you move slow. You're like, what do I do here? It's like, how am I supposed to handle this here?
Yeah. He starts grabbing trees and swinging them at you.
Yeah.
And crushing little houses and.
Yep.
And then if you save the dog.
Yeah, he'll distract him here. So yeah. I mean, that fight is a lot easier if you have like for one your sniper rifle is really upgraded.
Yeah.
And also if you have the TMP, the automatic like submachine gun. Yeah, like because you just unload a clip into him, he'll like pop down. You shoot that thing like 2 times and he's done basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, real good fight scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
The defenseless part with Ashley.
Oh, where you're playing as Ashley and stuff like that.
Yep.
I thought that was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting for one. I mean, definitely kind of makes you flips the script a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. I could have done without it, I guess.
Yeah. I kind of liked it because Ashley, she gets separated from Leon and she has to go into this area where she doesn't have any weapons. Mm-hmm. So she has to just run away from the
cultist people.
And solve puzzles without any weapons. And in the Japanese version, the camera goes back to the way it was in the old Resident Evils.
Oh, really? So it's like that's really weird. Yeah. So it's just straight up like fixed camera angles and stuff. Like, that's really weird that they did that. That's only in the Japanese version.
It is weird. There are some really weird differences between Japanese versions.
Yeah.
And then the crane game.
See, like at the very end, or
on the island.
Yeah,
you're able to get access to a crane, and then there are guys like hiding behind cover, and you're able to reach down with the crane and grab them, and then like put them in the garbage chute.
Oh yeah. I do remember that. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
And then I think the scene where your helicopter friend comes.
Yeah, and he's just like mowing down all the people.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, well, I guess I can just have a cakewalk here for a change here. Not have to worry about dealing with like a whole bunch of guys and conserving my ammo here. Because you finally get to see like the U.S. government kind of like just throw Leon a bone.
Yeah, exactly.
But but you got like a bunch of tidbits about like kind of the making of this game, like just like little fun facts about it as well here, right?
Okay. Yeah. So the lady that made the music for Resident Evil 4, her name is Misao Simbongi, and she made like the crazy good drum music when enemies are around.
Yeah.
And that music.
No, the music's very, very fitting for that game here.
Yeah. Yeah, like the drums with like the increasing like
intensity and all that. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So I saw a making of video for this,
Yeah.
and they had a villager actually pounce at Leon.
Really?
Yeah, instead of like, they slowly come closer and grab a hold of you.
Like
it was like
on all fours?
no, he was just like standing up, but he like jumps way over close to him and grabs Leon. It's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad they didn't have that, man. It's freaky.
Yeah.
The voice actor for Leon, I think he's one of the coolest sounding voice actors. He did a great job on Leon.
Yeah.
His voice, it sounds tough. Mm-hmm. And the delivery of his lines are blunt.
Yep.
He only voiced him for that and like Resident Evil 4 and then I think a couple movies. And then they got a different guy and then overall Leon's had 4 voice actors, but
yeah, because there's the original one from Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 6, and then Resident Evil 2 remake all had different voice actors for Leon, right?
Resident Evil 6 sounded a lot like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, no, I honestly thought it was the same guy, like, like when I first heard it, yeah.
Yep. So this game had ground-breaking graphics at the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean...
And a lot of the animations, like the facial animations were done by hand. They weren't... mocap, so they did a really good job.
Yeah,
just want to say that. It's weird because the Japanese version of this game, it had the English voiceovers.
Wait, what now?
So they all spoke in English and they had Japanese subtitles. So
there was no like Japanese audio for this game.
No,
really?
Yep,
that's interesting.
There were no other audios.
Well, especially
like no Spanish audio, no French. It was all English with subtitles.
That's really weird to me, just because. Well, especially like the Spanish one, just because this takes place like I'm assuming in Spain here.
Yes.
But yeah. No, it's like well, especially for like a game that is made by a Japanese developer like Capcom, it is very interesting that they don't have any Japanese voiceovers or something like
especially because in Resident Evil 2, they have a Japanese voiceover.
That's really interesting. So, wow, like the original Resident Evil 2?
No, the newest Resident Evil 2.
The remake?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they would say, oh, okay, we need to do a Japanese.
What about like 5 and 6? Did they...
I don't know about the old ones or the other ones. I don't know if... I think most of them had English with Japanese subtitles.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. There is an actual person in real life that looks like Leon as far as the face.
Yeah, they modeled him after like a German?
Yeah, a German TV host. His name is Christian Duer or something. I can't pronounce German stuff. But it's just cool to know that there's someone out there
that looks like Leon
Kennedy. Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone's hero.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, we just need him to like get some WWE training and he'll be good to go just doing suplexes on people and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I could pull strings, I would force him to become a special agent of the government.
Or just star in like a Resident Evil live action movie.
Probably both.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
We'd film the actual missions he goes on.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to kind of wrap this whole thing up here with just kind of our final thoughts on this game here. So I guess I'll go first. So this game I feel like was ahead of its time in like a lot of different ways here. I think, just little things like being able to kick down ladders and push furniture in front of doors to prevent people from like getting to you and all that, I think was something that I don't remember seeing like during that time playing video games here. That was like that kind of like, even like, just playing it again last year, I'm like, okay, this is kind of mind blowing for this point in time here. You know? And I think it definitely popularized third person shooters for one, just because, you have like games like Uncharted and games like it that I feel like took some notes for it. Like, you have like these big
Gears of War.
Yeah, like, well, these big memorable set pieces and stuff like that, and yeah, just like stuff like that for one. And then, just lots of attention to detail in this game for one, for the time it came out. Like, you go to the village and stuff, and you go to like the farm area, and there's like, just like maggots, like, crawling all around, like the nasty stuff. And like, you hear like flies just, buzzing like in droves and stuff, like just stuff that, you would not really see that attention to detail like during that generation. For the most part, that was kind of like something that wasn't like really super prominent until like, the PS3, Xbox 360 era, and, and beyond, basically.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't played too many Resident Evil games here. I've played like, I played a little bit of 6. I played, I think, a little bit of 5. And I played the Resident Evil 2 remake that just came out last year. And I will say, like, this is my favorite one that is out there. Possibly best Capcom game. I mean, I know that's a pretty bold statement, but I definitely think it's in the running for that. And I mean, I really hope we do get a remake of Resident Evil 4 if they are going on the trend of like, remaking like their past Resident Evil games here, which is kind of seems like they're doing here. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about getting a remake of this game.
You're a purist on it?
I don't know how they could, like, if they were able to just take it and make it better, like had the same voice acting. If they had the same voice acting,
yeah,
then I'm cool.
Yeah.
But if they start putting a different guy as Leon,
that's probably more likely.
And then they're going to try to make him more whiny and make him less of an 80s action hero.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, I definitely think, I would imagine they would try to like, kind of keep what made the, original game great. I mean, who knows if they end up doing that. But I mean, the main thing I would really like is just like being able to move the camera around freely with the analog stick here and all that. I think that definitely would. Yeah, that I would say is like maybe like the one thing that this game I feel like, just didn't age too well, is like you can't really like freely see, all around you and all that.
I personally appreciate that.
I mean, it does create like quite a bit of suspense with it, but yeah, but
because back then people would try different things with controls.
Yeah.
After Call of Duty 4, everyone has Call of Duty 4 controls.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like every shooter is like basically, inspired by Call of Duty 4, but
which it has an amazing control scheme.
Oh yeah, very efficient.
Yeah.
But all said and done, what are your final thoughts on this game here?
Oh, okay. So it probably inspired Gears of War, because Gears of War was a year after this game.
Yeah, but I feel like probably Gears of War was already
in development
during that time, just because I don't think they had like I think they probably were working on it for probably more than a year, I would imagine here.
Yeah, I bet you they were, but I think that they probably could have seen like the way the camera handled and all that kind of stuff, and
sure, yeah,
because it's over the shoulder, just like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's quite a bit like this. It's more of an action game.
Yeah,
but yeah, this just really influenced pretty much a lot of games afterwards for having realistic graphics, having like face animations looked horrible in games before this.
Yeah.
Like, Grand Theft Auto looks awful.
Well, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 2,
or 3, you mean?
Or 3, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, well, yeah, no, they didn't really focus on like facial animations like really all that much during that time here. I think like one of the few people like really actually doing facial animations like legitimately was like
Square Enix.
Well, Square Enix, also I think the Metal Gear Solid games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, at least for like in this generation that we're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah. I think it really influenced a lot of them, but we need to have another game like this.
Just a cheesy 80s action.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that
where a guy just
goes all alone on a secret mission and stuff like that.
And he's completely cool the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
And the whole world is falling apart around him.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, not to mention too, it's like, you know, I mean, this was kind of the game that I think definitely kind of, you know, it was the Resident Evil's franchise's best game for better and worse. And like, I think Capcom did take some wrong lessons from that, just because like 5 and 6, they're not very scary really all that much here in terms of like, you know, like keeping that horror element. They play more like action games here, and that's, you know, something that, you know, a lot of fans were just not pleased with when that happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, this definitely had the right balance of like, okay, this is going to be action, and it's an action horror, you know, game essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, so well, that pretty much wraps it up. So thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. We have weekly shows where we talk about the latest nerd news on Monday, plus some roundtable review stuff. We are going to be continuing to do Throwback Thursdays on, you guessed it, Thursdays. We'll also have occasional deep dives where we talk about maybe the newest game, the newest movie, or TV show that just came out, and we'll just talk about it more in depth. You can check us out on our Twitter at You Heard With Nerds, YouTube at You Heard With Nerds, Facebook You Heard With Nerds. You can also support us directly on Patreon if you like what you hear and you want us to upgrade the show, have better equipment. That'd be awesome. And just have an awesome week. And remember, everybody is a nerd about something.